Hello and welcome to the men's NCBBA League Meeting. I will be your host, Matt Hazy. I am the Director of Men's Basketball Operations for the NCBBA, and I want to thank you all to our viewers first for taking time out of your day to be here with us and tuning in and following along. We're going to be going over a lot of important information that you guys will need to know for this upcoming season. So, without further ado, like I said, this is the men's annual league meeting. To follow along, we do have our slides for you to download on our NCBBA website. So all you have to do is go to ncbbabasketball.org to download the presentation slides from the headlines. If you scroll down to the very bottom, you'll be able to see that post and download these slides from there for you to follow along. If you ever need to ask a question, all you have to do is in the comments section on the live stream, type your name, your team affiliation, and your question. And we will have a staff member, kind of like in a control booth, who will be able to read those questions out to myself so that I can answer. There is Christian Smith, our VP of Basketball Operations, helping us out with that there. All right, so here, moving on. Just some information, where you can find us. We are located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As you can see there, we have our phone number, how you can reach us, our website link, and then where you can find us on our social media pages on Facebook and Twitter. Moving along, so what's on the agenda for tonight? So, like I said, a lot of important information coming at you tonight. So here's kind of the rundown and what we'll be going over for tonight, what we're going to be starting with. So first, let's go ahead and get right into it. What is Cool Club Sports? So Cool Club Sports, we are a National Federation of Collegiate Club Sports. Underneath of us, we have the National Club Baseball Association, which is comprised of 3 divisions: Division I, Division II, and Division III. We have the National Club Softball Association, which has Division I, and then coming up for this next season, the 23-24 season, there will be a Division II as well. So softball is growing, which is great to see. We have the National Club Football Association, and then we also have the National Club Basketball Association for men's and women's. As you can see there, you can see what years they were founded in, the teams that started in their first inaugural season, and what each league has grown to. So great stuff there. We're growing every year, and it's exciting to see how much growth we've had since we've started. Here's kind of our mission and what we're trying to accomplish by having these leagues for everybody. We're trying to provide you guys another opportunity to play your sport that you love competitively at an organized level. And our mission is to continue to enhance this experience for you all. And by doing that, we're hoping to build lasting relationships, trust, dedication, and just, having strong lines of communications with you guys, so we can, you guys can express to us, what we need to do to help out, help improve the league, and how we can help you guys as a team moving forward. So let's meet some of the front office staff here. We have our president, Sandy Sanderson. As you saw earlier, our vice president, Christian Smith, who is in the control booth, man in the comments section. As I said myself, I'm the director of men's basketball operations and team development. We also have our accounting department on there, and then all of our sponsor account managers, who I will be going over with you later on in the meeting. But as you can see there, kind of our front office staff for the NCBBA. Moving on, we also have 6 regional directors. We have newcomer, actually this past season, Walter, for the New England region. For the Mid-Atlantic, South Atlantic, and North Atlantic, Trey Anderson, Trey Long, and Rob Montgomery have been with us for a few years now. So if you're a recurring team, renewal team, you're familiar with working with them. Mike Battaglia, who's also, as you saw on the last slide, our accounting specialist. He was our Great Lakes Regional Director, and then myself, I took over as the Pacific Regional Director, as that region opened up pretty late in the season. Again, if you don't have the slides, you can always download them. Go over to our website, head over to the headline section at the very bottom of the website to be able to find these PowerPoint slides. And once again, it's going to pop up, throughout the whole meeting. If you ever have a comment, question, anything, in the comment section, type your name, your team affiliation, and your question, and we'll be able to get your question answered for you. Before we move on in the next season and what's to come, we do want to recognize some of the skills competition winners from our past national championship. As you can see there, we have our 4 winners. At our national championship, we do have a skills competition and all-star game, and those skills competitions are a 3-point shooting contest, the shooter's chaos, the obstacle course, and we have a slam dunk competition as well. So I just want to say congratulations to those 4 winners of their respective competitions. Also we have here is our 22-23 national championship bracket. Just so you guys can see, who made it. We have the 6 regional winners and then 2 at-large bids who were selected by the front office. As you can see there, UCLA won a tight one in the final seconds. It was a very thrilling game against a really hot James Madison team who won the Mid-Atlantic Regional and went on a fantastic winning streak there. But unfortunately fell short to UCLA there in the championship game. And then just to kind of congratulate UCLA as the 22-23 champions. Just want to kind of shout out to them. First year NCBBA team making it all the way, winning the Pacific Regional, traveling all the way to Erie, Pennsylvania, and showing everybody what UCLA basketball is all about. So yeah, that kind of sums up last season. So now let's move on to what's to come in the 23-24 season. As you can see here, this is just another list of agenda and topics that I will be going over with you guys. Again, if you have questions in the comment sections, please ask questions. That's what this is for. Without further ado, let's get into some of our potential new teams who are expressed serious interest in joining for the 23-24 season. I myself have spoken to these teams. I've helped them out with any questions that they have. I've gone over all of this information with them. As you can see here, it's a pretty big list. So I'm very hopeful that we can get these teams to join on to further grow the league, moving forward. So with those potential new teams, I also want to show the growth of the league since when we started back in 2013 and 14. As you can see there, we started with 17 teams. Unfortunately, whenever COVID hit, that did drop us down a little bit, but we are back on the rise. Last season we had 130 teams, and we're projecting around 145, 150 teams for this coming season. So really good stuff there. It's very encouraging, very exciting to see all these teams coming together and wanting to join the NCBBA. Moving right along here, we have the next thing is our fall tip-off tournaments. So this past season we had our 3rd annual fall tournament. This was hosted in State College, Pennsylvania. It is the Happy Valley Fall Tip-Off Tournament, and that is hosted at the Nittany Valley Sports Center. There were 16 men's teams that participated, and UConn ended up defeating Northeastern in the championship game by a score of 61-48. As you can see at the bottom there, kind of what we're looking for fall tournaments for the fall of this year. We're looking to host 3. So we will have the Happy Valley again for the North Atlantic, and then it is my goal to get a fall tournament out in the Great Lakes area, down in the South Atlantic region. At these tournaments, you're getting 3 guaranteed games. You're getting placed into a pool. You're then seeded based off how you do during your pool play, which moves on to a single elimination format, and from there, you keep going until you make it to the championship game. So more information on those will come during the summer. I'm currently working on those. I do have some places who are potential suitors for some fall tournaments other than the Happy Valley ones. So really working hard on getting those started and getting those up, and it also relies on you guys as well, showing interest and commitment in these tournaments. That's also a big thing to help us get these on the ground. We need you guys to commit to these. They are a fun experience. You do get to play some teams that you might not normally play during the regular season, maybe even some non-NCBBA teams as well. So just a really good opportunity for you guys to get more exposure to other teams in the league, so that if you do make your regional, maybe you haven't seen any of those teams yet, but you're going to play them in your regional and then on to the national championship. So like I said, just really good chance to get out, get some exposure, visit a new place. Maybe you've never been there before. So yeah, fall tournaments. Like I said, we're really looking to get 3 on the docket for this coming season. Moving right along here is we have our next topic of our Titan Athletics Top 20 pool. So we do have a Top 20 pool. It does come out every other week during the season. So what I do is I ask former players, coaches, NCBBA front office staff if they want to sit on my voting panel. And so those voters get sent out a ballot with every team in the league. That is then sent back to me. We have a whole formula that gets put into place as determine the seeding and everything like that. But we will have a preseason pool that will probably be released closer to the end of October, and then starting week 2 will be the first actual top 20 pool of the 23-24 season. And then from there, a poll will be released every other week. So just really cool stuff just to see how you guys are doing and how the voters, view the league and how the voters view the teams, how they vote. It's just really exciting stuff. And it keeps you guys encouraged and wanting to compete at a higher level, seeing that these top 20 pools come out and that you can strive for that number 1 spot throughout the season. So, we are every season. I do ask, it's not always guaranteed that voters from previous seasons will come back. So in the instance, I am, always looking for qualified and unbiased voters to sit on my panel. So if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to me and I'd be glad to talk to you about that. As you can see here, here's an example. This is actually our final pool from this past season. As you can see there, UCLA, winners, champions, sitting there at that 1 spot. That 11 next to their name is actually first place votes. So we had 11 voters on the panel this past season, and UCLA received all 11 first place votes. So that's kind of how we do things for the top 20. And like I said, that will be released every other week during the season. Conference realignment, which is actually coming, sooner than you think. It's approaching really fast. And conference realignment is how we, set teams up into their region and then into their conference. And what we do is we have a big Google Earth, and each team is pinned in that Google Earth, and we sit down for hours and just try to come up with the best geographically, located region and conference to put your team in, so that you can minimize on travel, and that also reduce on your team's costs for the season. As you can see, we're hoping and estimating that we're going to get that 145 teams. Last season we did have 2 conferences in the South Atlantic region, so another thing that we're looking to do is increase the South Atlantic to get the 4 conferences, and even open up, the ultimate goal, open up 8 regions in the NCBBA. Next is conference scheduling. So how we do that is we send out a schedule request form, probably I would say in August. As you can see on the screen there, those are due September 1st. The schedule request forms are how I create every team's conference schedule. So those are very important, and on this next slide here, you'll be able to see a example of what that looks like, and I'll be able to take you through a quick rundown of how that needs to be filled out. But as conference schedules are released and after they are released, we fully encourage you to schedule non-conference games, to supplement your schedule, because there are 25 weeks In the season, you're not getting a conference schedule every week. So if you're looking to play more games, please reach out to myself if there's teams that you need contact information for to set up those non-conference games, help supplement your schedule and your overall record. So like I said, here is that sample schedule request form. So as you can see there, it lists out every week in the NCBBA season. It lists out the start and end date of each week. And then there's columns for your preferred location. So that is where you indicate whether you need to play at home that week. Your court's available and you want to play at home, so it makes the most sense for you to play at home. You can indicate whether you need to play away. So, if your home court is not available for you and you have to travel, you can indicate away. Or either, which is the most flexibility, which is honestly the best possible outcome. If you indicate either there, that means it doesn't matter if you play at home or you can travel. And then you can mark off as well. So maybe it's winter break, or it's Easter, and you can't play that weekend. So in that reason column, that's when you can indicate hey, we're going away for winter break. On the schedule request form, Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, all that stuff will already be blocked out. So really, it's up to you for the winter breaks, spring breaks to indicate, and then any other weeks that you just won't have enough guys to play, indicate if that you can't play that weekend. So like I said, these will come out sometime in August. They will be sent via email. All important information is sent via email. So make sure you're constantly checking your email, staying up to date with that, because that is where this will be when it comes that time. So like I said, the regular season, it will be 25 weeks, and it will start on November 1st of this year. Each team, if you did not know already, conference opponents, they are 2-game series. You are scheduled to play on the weekends. So whether you're going to play 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, 1 game Saturday, 1 game Sunday, completely up to you guys. So conference opponents are required to communicate with each other for that scheduled week to come up with the exact details of that game. So you and your conference opponent, so if it's Pitt and Penn State, the team reps need to communicate to determine, when you guys are going to play your first game and your second game, what times, where, all that stuff. So that is completely and solely up to you guys to get that figured out whenever conference season schedules are released. But yeah, so that is the regular season. And then, like I said, the non-conference games, up to your discretion, but we extremely encourage you guys to fill in the rest of your schedule with some non-conference games. During the regular season, weekly team submission forms, those are how you record the scores of your games and how you nominate your players of the week. So regional directors will send those out either Thursday or Fridays, and that way you guys can have them to fill out as soon as possible right after your games are over. The sooner the better. That is something that we need to work on, is getting those in quicker. There's some times where there is a week where I still don't have a score from a team on a Wednesday or on a Thursday, which is absolutely unacceptable. So we really need to work on getting these scores in sooner. As you can see there, they are due by Tuesday at the very latest, because we will need to update the scores, of course, and then select the conference players of the weeks, because then come Wednesday, the NCBBA front office will then select the national players of the week. So, making sure you're getting, as soon as you get those forms and as soon as those games are over, fill those out, nominate your players, send those in as soon as possible. That way it doesn't get forgot about. That way, you're not receiving emails from myself and even your regional director saying, hey, this is supposed to be in Tuesday. Where is it? We need this. And if not, further disciplinary action might have to happen, if you're a recurring offender to this. So please, this is something I keep harping on it, but please make sure that those are in on time every week during the season. It's a massive thing. The 2024 regional tournaments. So our regional tournaments happen obviously after the conference schedule is over. The regional tournaments are in a single elimination format. So regional tournaments really just depend on what your conference will look like and what your region will look like that season, and we won't know that until after all LPAs are received. But I can say, your regional tournament can be anywhere from 3 to 8 teams. So how that works is each region, each conference in each region, the conference winners and runners up will move on to the regional tournament, and from there it is a single elimination tournament. Like I said, the winner gets an automatic bid to the national championship. As you can see on our screen there, the ultimate goal is for us to have 8 regions with 4 conferences per region, with 8 to 9 teams per conference. So with those potential teams and referrals from you guys, we can really make that happen, and that is the ultimate goal for us in the league in these regional tournaments. The regional tournaments happen 1 to 2 weeks after the regular season is over. So as you can see there, April 6th and 7th, that is an expected date. That's not set in stone yet. But you can expect, around that time frame for the regional tournaments to take place. They will be geographically, a central location to minimize all teams' travels and costs as well. They will be, like I said, the single elimination format. And, the winners move on. They get the automatic bid to the national championship. So the 2024 National Championship, like I said, expected dates to be April 29th through the 21st. It is an 8-team single elimination tournament. So as of right now, we have the 6 regions. So it would be the 6 regional winners, and then the NCBBA front office will select 2 at-large bids, and the at-large bids are based off of how you did at your regional tournament, your conference standings, and all that stuff. So that will make up the 8 teams for the national championship. At the national championship, it is a full weekend, so games will start on a Friday, with the championship game being on a Sunday. That Saturday in the morning, we do have skills competitions. As you guys saw earlier, there's 4 winners, and then we also have an all-star game as well. So really exciting stuff. The all-star game, we have head coaches selected, draft teams. It's a really fun time, really exciting. High scoring, a lot of threes, flashy plays. So it's kind of like just a really fun thing that we have for you guys to participate in at the national championship. So we are currently looking for our next national championship venue and host city. We have a list of criteria that we use to base how we find our national championship location. If you guys do have any suggestions for us, those are greatly appreciated. Please reach out to myself with those, especially if it is on your campus. We also have Erie, PA as an option to return to them as well. We have been there the past 2 years. They've been great. We've had nothing but great things said about our locations that we've had in Erie. So a return to Erie is also extremely possible for the national championship for next season. Here is the priorities that we use when trying to find the national championship location. As you can see there are 7 things. With the first thing being is the venue centrally located. With teams coming across all over the country, having that centrally located location will cut down, and I keep saying it, the travel costs and things of that nature for you guys. With the national championship, we do put you guys up in high quality, host hotels. So that's all covered. You will have to, book those hotels, but we do have those provided for you. A couple other things on there. It has to be, mid to the end of April. The tournament venue's got to be like a small collegiate arena, hardwood surface, of course. and then locker rooms, practice facilities, if possible, are great. Having another court for teams to warm up on before their games would be awesome. So those are kind of the priorities that we use when determining and how to select our national championship location. These are some of our goals that we're looking to improve for our national championship. We really want a lot of non-championship teams to, their players to participate in the skills competition. The national championship teams are, required to throw in, a couple players, one player for each competition. So the more non-championship team players that we have, the better. It's a great way for you guys just to come out, enjoy your weekend in a different city, experience, a different place, get to meet some of these players on these teams, make new friends, things of that nature. So it's just a really good opportunity for you guys, which is something we hope to get more participation in the years to come. We're looking to do better in marketing this event. We want these teams and games to be filled with people from these cities. We're going to be working on that, which would also come with getting more sponsorships for this tournament as well. So providing you guys with discounts to go to these to different restaurants, if they have other bars or casinos, whatever the case may be, just giving you guys stuff to do after your games, so you guys can go out and experience this different city. Having a larger presence on social media, this is going to help us with these non-qualifying teams and getting these non-member teams to join. So we do broadcast all of the men's games as well. So with that, we're hoping to expand that, hoping to reach that, get that outreach out to more teams as well. So further out, just those are some of our goals that we're looking to accomplish and improve moving forward with the national championship. Again, if you haven't already, the meeting slides are on our website. Just head over to ncbbabasketball.org and download the presentation slides from the headlines, which you can find at the very bottom of the page. And again, if you do have any questions, in the comments section, just type your name, your team affiliation, and the question that you have for us, and we'll be able to get that answered for you. Moving along here, so this is very important for new team presidents, and any potential new teams. A lot of good information for you guys that you guys will need, moving into this coming season. So the league participation agreement, or the LPA, as if you're a recurring member, you know what this is all about. This is how you secure your spot in the season in the NCBBA. This was due June 1st. As you guys know, I have sent out individual emails to every team if I don't have that yet from you. If you're not the current president, and you have received that, please make sure that gets in the right person's hands. That's very important for that team. I don't want them to miss out on anything like that. But that LPA is how, like I said, how you reserve your spot. That LPA needs to be signed by your club sports director and or faculty advisor and your team president, and then sent in to the NCBBA or myself. Along with that league participation is we have a registration form, which is how we will be able to get your contact information for your team's presidents, your vice president, your club sports director and or advisor. It's very important to have that stuff on there. That registration form is how we comprise conference contact sheets, which is how we disperse your contact information to all the teams in your conference, so that you guys can then go ahead and reach out to them to get those details scheduled for your conference games. So both very important documents that we do need, as soon as possible. And if you have any questions about those, please reach out to myself. Be more than happy to help you out with that stuff. Like I said, we touched on it earlier, the schedule request form. Those will be due approximately September 1st. They will go out sometime in August. You're going to need to complete those with accurate information, as detailed as possible. We will include Thanksgiving, the spring break, New Year's, all that stuff on there for you. So any other weeks on there that you need to indicate that you're off, please make sure you do that so that we don't schedule and get into a scheduling conflict with another team throughout the season. Just creates a big headache, and I'd rather just avoid that. With joining the NCBBA, you also get put on our general liability insurance policy. So this covers us and our member teams. It covers the different aspects of the NCBBA play, such as travel, practice, workouts. You get that full year coverage. This is not a coverage or a policy for health or accident insurance policy. This is for us for any potential lawsuits or financial losses. So you get that, another great thing there with joining the NCBBA. Reserving court space. As you can see there in capital letters, do not procrastinate. Once your conference schedule is released and you do have that, and you're looking at that first conference opponent, you need to be reaching out to them as soon as possible. Don't wait. The longer you wait, the more conflicts you're going to have, the more headaches you're going to create for yourself and your opponent and the front office. So please get those scheduled as soon as possible. Even if it's the last game of your conference schedule, get that done in the first month. The sooner the better. That's just going to save a lot of time for you, moving forward onto the season. That way you don't have to worry about it. Whenever you are scheduling your referees for your games, so home teams, you are required to pay for and provide officials for your games. These officials need to be at least high school certified. So if you're having issues with finding officials, contact the local high school's athletic director. See if they can provide you with anything. Your state's official high school association website. They will probably have officials' contact information on there. Even your club sports department might even have some contact information for your outside officials for you guys to use for your games. And if anything, please reach out to myself. I can get involved as well. I can do some research and help you guys out there as well. But scheduling referees, the main things, they have to be at least high school certified. You do need 2 officials on paper. If for whatever reason one were to back out at the last minute, games can be played with 1. I know that's hard, but we do require at least 2 high school certified officials per game. And that's another thing with court space. Don't wait. Get those scheduled ahead of time. That way you don't have to worry about it when it comes the week of. Team manager access and online player registration. So the team manager, I will send out an email to every team with a bunch of information on this stuff. But every team will have a team manager. That team manager will email me in the beginning of the season so that I can grant them team manager access. With that access, you will be able to get your team code. Your team code is very important. This is how your players will register on our website. Once they do register, they fill out a big questionnaire, about their education, history, if they have any previous playing time, stuff like that. But once they are registered, they then sit in the registration queue. From there, once they're in that registration queue, I myself then will push them over to the active roster, depending on if they get cleared or not, which I will go over here shortly. But team manager access, very important. It can be anybody on your team president, preferably. And from there, the team president will distribute that team code so that your players can register in that registration queue to be then pushed over to the active roster. We do have coaches waivers, so if you are a team who has an outside coach that's not a player coach who won't be playing, they do need to fill out a coaches waiver, which can be found on our website under the Documents tab. Once you fill that out, please submit it to myself. I'll keep record of that so that I have that moving forward and throughout the season. The academic eligibility letter. This is very important. This is what I said when I mentioned, you're sitting in that registration queue waiting to get moved over to the active roster. So the academic eligibility letter is something I send out to all teams, and this is due 2 weeks prior to your first conference game to myself. So this can be found also on the info tab of the NCBBA website. So this form is how we determine who will be eligible to compete, that for on your team. So what you need to do is you have all your players fill out this form. It's going to be their name, signature, and their social security number on there as well, just the last four. Once all that information is filled out, you turn that in to your club sports director or your registrar. The registrar will then check your grades to see if they're eligible, and we do have requirements for that. As you can see on the screen there, you must be a full-time student and currently enrolled in that university or college. Full-time students is 12 plus credit hours. If you're a 2-year school, it is 9 plus credit hours. You need to have at least a 2.0 cumulative GPA, and you can't be on academic warning or probation. The registrar will be able to note that on there, and if they do, you just will sit in the registration queue and not get pushed over to the active roster whenever I have that. These academic eligibility letters are very important. You need to make sure you're on top of this. If this doesn't get turned in before your first conference game, you are at risk of forfeiture of that series, which you can potentially end up on probation for that season if you end up forfeiting more than one series. Conference series, I should say. So please make sure you're on top of those. Those are due, like I said, 2 weeks prior to your first conference game in the fall, and then we do require you to submit a spring academic eligibility form to make sure that those players are still eligible from the fall semester. You can then upload your player stats and team information onto our website as well. You do get a team page where you can see, your conference standings, records, other conference standings and records, things of that nature. So the team manager will be able to upload all player stats. We highly encourage you to do so. Having player stats makes it, more feel like a league. Rather than that just being blank. There may be teams out there who want to see how many points per game so and so is averaging, how many assists. If they want to scout, they can kind of determine what they're expecting whenever they come to play you guys based off your stats and how your players are doing. So that's very important. Make sure you take full advantage of that. It's something that we offer to you. So just make sure you get those stats uploaded. That's also how at the end of the season, if you have stats in, that's also how we can use your players to nominate for all region teams and further on all American teams, which I will get into here soon. We already went over this, but I will touch on it again. The weekly team submission form. That is due to each regional director, Monday midnight, Tuesday early morning at the very latest. We need those scores in as soon as possible. The regional directors will send those out every Friday so that you guys have them, so you can update them as soon as your games are over. That's how you enter in your scores. That's how we'll be able to get those scores on your website to accurately update your records. And then also, that's how you nominate your players of the week, which is something that definitely needs to be worked on. But I'll be able to go over that a little bit later. The NCBBA, we do have some league dues every season. So with membership, you do get 3 official NCBBA basketballs and put on that general liability insurance policy. Teams, so whether if you're a new team or if you're a renewal team from the past season, if you forfeited any of your games, as you lost either $100 or $150 of your performance bond. So those teams who have lost their performance bond from this previous season, and if you're a new team, you do have to submit another $150 performance bond. We use that as kind of like an incentive for you guys not to forfeit any of those conference games. So, if you don't forfeit any conference games, we roll that over to the following season. Or if you want it back, we can definitely send it back to you. But a majority of teams do just have that rolled over. That way they don't have to worry about it for the next season. But those performance bonds are due on October 15th. And those will be sent out, via invoice through our accounting department. So those will be sent out, in the months to come. We do have annual league dues as well. This coming season, they are $999, and they are due on February 28th of 2024. We do have an early discount period, which is starting right now. So that early discount period, if you were to pay in this early discount period, you will get $100 off of your annual league dues, making it $899. Sorry. That early discount period is over December 31st. So if you're ready to pay that now, please reach out to me. We can get those invoices out to you. That's not a big deal. The sooner the better. Take advantage of that. It'll save you guys some money. Invoices, as you can see there, that's how you can go ahead and pay those. You can submit a check, or you can pay via credit card. But yeah, so those are kind of the league dues. So we have the performance bond and then the league dues. Now we're going to get into just how you can boost some interest in your team if you're struggling to find players. Some really good ways and methods that we've seen in the past is at your student involvement fair. You can put up flyers in all of the dorms, all around campus. Create social media pages. Put your social media handles on those flyers. Advertise that you're looking for players, and just making your presence known on campus. We found that those are kind of the best ways to help you guys find players and recruit players for your teams. And then we can get into boosting team morale. Doing stuff outside of just practicing. Whether you go to the movies, go golf, go get team dinner. Stuff like that. Have outside competitions. Go do stuff together. Whether it's it could be hanging out in your dorms. Just getting to know each other is really going to help boost that team morale, which is really going to help you guys come together as a team to better perform, help you guys perform during the season. So just some other stuff you guys can do just to get to know each other, to help you guys boost that team morale throughout the season. Budgeting. So budgeting is very important. It's very important to set that accurate budget, making sure you have all expenses accounted for. Whenever you're going away, your transportation and any potential lodging, researching, hotel prices, how much your home court's going to cost, how much officials are per game, just having an estimated number in your budget so you can account for, so you can properly budget out your season so that you don't run into any issues with running out of money. You guys can set up fundraisers, which we have a sponsor with, so I will get into that later, but you guys can do fundraisers to help raise some extra money as well. But very important for you guys to set a accurate budget. Do your research. Estimate your budget a little higher just in case. Costs may vary. They may change day to day. You never know. So making sure that is organized and accurate is very important for you guys in the coming season as well. I know teams do charge player dues. It's really up to the teams and how much they want to charge there, and what the dues are going to include, whether that's the travel costs, the new uniforms, things of that nature. So that's also something for you guys to consider to help generate a little more money, is asking your players to pay some sort of fee to help offset some of those travel costs, home court costs, official costs, and postseason costs as well, if you make it there traveling for that. Team equipment and uniforms. So all teams, you do have to have obviously a matching uniforms, numbers on the back, your team logo somewhere on that. We do have a sponsor for uniforms, Titan Athletics, which I will get into later. But as far as uniforms go, make sure you're ordering extra ones. Jerseys always rip or go missing. If you add players in the middle of the season, make sure whenever you have those extra uniforms for them. Even if you want to save some costs, you can always ask your varsity team if they have old ones that you can use. That's always a suggestion as well there. But, we do have Titan. That's why we do have these sponsors for you guys to take advantage. So make sure you're ordering enough jerseys, extra jerseys just in case, extra basketballs, other than the three free ones that you get when joining the NCBBA as well. Make sure you are fully stocked for those because you never know what could happen. Moving on, we do have a guide to collegiate club basketball. So we have developed this to help you guys, create your teams and all that information when it comes to the NCBBA. As you can see there, the chapter titles, we do have all of those on our website that you can find under the Documents tab. So really important information in there. If you're looking to start a team at your school, there's how to go about doing that. You can find that in there. What to expect when joining the NCBBA. How to operate within the NCBBA. Just a lot of important information in there for you guys to know and just have on hand. So I would definitely recommend you go in there, you read those. Even if you're a new team president, you just kind of want to catch up on that stuff if you don't know what to expect. Those chapter titles are very important for you guys, which is why we have them out there for you. Here's a timetable of some of the important dates, when going out through this coming season. As you know, the renewal LPA deadline has passed already. We're still accepting them, so please get those into me as soon as possible. Some other just important dates. Like I said earlier, the conference schedule should be released, on September 15th. That's whenever you guys can start scheduling your court time and travel plans and all that stuff. The performance bond, October 15th. That's a big date to remember. The regular season begins November 1st. The early discount period ends December 31st. And then the deadline for the annual dues is February 28th. And then as you can see there with the asterisks, those are all just an estimated date. We will have dates set in stone for you later on here as the summer and as the season approaches. But yeah, just a timetable for you guys just to have, so hold on to this, screenshot it, whatever you need to do. A lot of important dates on here for you guys to remember moving forward. Again, this timetable is on these meeting slides, so you can download those on our website. Head over there at ncbba-basketball.org. Download the presentation slides from the headlines, so you guys can follow along and have all this information for you to look back on. And again, if you have any questions in the comment section, type your name, team affiliation, and your question, and we will have Christian back there able to answer your questions for you. Moving right along here, we can get into our sponsors and some of our fundraising opportunities. So as you can see there on the screen, our sponsors, we do have the game, Titan Athletics, Fundraiser, and Motel 6. So moving right along here into Fundraiser and Motel 6, Eric Curator is our sponsor account manager for Fundraiser and Motel 6. If you ever need to get a hold of him, his contact information is there, email and office number for you guys to reach him at. But we can start with Fundraiser. Fundraiser, obviously, is the official fundraiser of the NCBBA. It is a good way for you guys to raise some extra money in case you are running low for postseason play and things of that nature. Starting a fundraiser is completely free. A good way to get that fundraiser out is by sharing that to all of your social media pages, having your players share that to their own personal social media pages, including that on any flyers around campus, with any events that you guys are going to have planned to help raise those extra funds for you guys. All you need to do that is obviously just reach out to Eric. He'll help you get that set up. But you need a email address and a verified PayPal account to get those started. And then from there, it's really simple. You guys can come up with different ways to raise money, whether that's each player having their own competition to see who can get the most donations. Having a car wash. I know that sounds basic and old, but I'm sure teams have done it before. There's a thing out there where teams will go to a restaurant and help serve or host to just raise some extra donations. I've heard of that before. So there's a lot of cool ways that you can use fundraiser to help you guys raise some extra money. Here's just an example. In the past season, Albany started a fundraiser to help get them to the national championship tournament they qualified for. As you can see there on the screen, they did raise $2,400 to help offset some of those travel costs to get them to the national championship. So it's just a really cool way to help you guys raise some extra money. Take that seriously. It can be a lot of fun. It can be a good way to also boost your team morale in creating these different events for you guys to host to help raise this extra money. As I said before, Eric is also for our Motel 6 sponsor. He is our sponsor account manager for Motel 6. So Motel 6 is the official lodging partner of the NCBBA. So all teams, players, fans, they can schedule and book with Motel 6. You're getting a minimum of 10% discount whenever you do book with them. So whenever you're traveling during the season for conference games, non-conference games, if there's a Motel 6 around, and it's close and makes sense, make sure you use that 10% discount you get. We do have a link that you can use. It's provided there on the screen to book online, and then a ID number if you were to call to book those as well. And if you do need help with that stuff, Eric will be able to help you out with all that stuff. As you can see at the bottom there, his email is provided once again. Moving on, Felicia Battaglia is our The Game sponsor account manager. So The Game is the official headwear sponsor of the NCBBA. And The Game, if you guys want to order any team hats, boonies, visors, this is that place to do so. They are completely customizable. You can pick your style, colors, all of that nature. So if you ever need help with that stuff, Felicia is the person to go to. You're getting early order discounts. You're getting the exclusive low prices. And even a free NCBBA shield is included with that. So if you guys are looking to order team hats, visors, boonies, once again, please reach out to Felicia. She would be more than happy to help you out in placing that order and getting you guys what you need. Eric Curator is also our Rawlings sponsor account manager, which now is a good time to announce that moving forward, Rawlings will be the official basketball sponsor of the NCBBA. As you guys know, I did send out a survey just to get some feedback from you guys on who you guys prefer. We ultimately decided to go with Rawlings. There is a couple better, just options for us that makes more sense for us to go with Rawlings moving forward instead of Wilson. So each team this coming season will get those 3 free Rawlings basketballs free of charge. They're included with your league dues. They will have the NCBBA artwork on there as well. And very important with this, so in year 1, which is this coming season, all teams will be able to use either your Rawlings or your previous Wilson Evolution balls that you got. After this 23-24 season, moving on to the 24-25 season, Rawlings basketball will be the only ball legal to use for your games. That's the only thing that we will permit you guys to use during the season. So, moving forward, Rawlings is the official basketball sponsor of the NCBBA. Later here, I want to say probably in August or sometime in a couple months, a survey will go out to all NCBBA teams in which you can fill out the form so that you can get your balls delivered to you. You can include your name, the address, and all that stuff on there too. As you can see there, we recommend you use an on-campus address. We have had shipments get lost in the past or just not show up, whether it was not a valid address or something just happened. So please make sure that address is something that you get your packages shipped to, so that it doesn't get lost, and you don't have to order any more basketballs for that. Alec Verhoff is our Titan Athletics sponsor account manager. Titan Athletics is our official uniform sponsor of the NCBBA. As you can see at the bottom of the screen here, his contact information is there if you are in the market for new team uniforms. So you are getting exclusive prices with those. They are fully customizable. They will include a NCBBA logo on them, free of charge. And like I said, you're getting an exclusive discount with these. In the bottom of the screen there, you can see a example of Creighton's uniform that they ordered previously, and then also a couple other examples of Coastal Carolina and UCLA. So if you're in the need for new uniforms, you can either reach out to Alec, or you can reach out to our sponsor directly. Brian Johnson is his name. You can reach out to him at titanathletics.com. Send him an email, and he'll be able to get you squared away with your order and everything that you want. Again, if you have any questions about anything in the comments section, please make sure you type in your team name, your name, and the question, and we'll be able to get that answered for you. Now is a big part of our league meeting. We have come to the proposed rule voting ballot procedures, at which place this is how teams can propose changes to rules, who can then, if it gets second, it will then get put onto the voting ballot, at which point we would send out shortly after the league meeting in a couple days, we'll get a voting ballot out to you guys so you guys can vote on that. Each team does get one submission, so make sure only one person is submitting per team. That way we don't have any duplicates or anything like that. We will be able to check that, so make sure it's just one submission per team. So yeah, now is the time we're going to open up the floor. Any teams who are who have listened up until this point, if you have any rules that you are looking to propose that you want to make a change for, please put that in the comment section. Address what rule, what you're proposing to change, and if we get any second that's in the comments, that is how we'll be able to move that rule over to the ballot to send out to you guys to vote on, to see if that rule gets changed. So yeah, the floor is open. Christian will be able to, if anything does come through, Christian will be able to say those out loud, so that everybody knows what's being proposed.
Yeah, at this point, Matt, we don't have anything proposed. But yes, if any teams out there have any rule suggestions that they would like to include, just please put it in the comments section. We will look for another team to second that. And if we get a second, like Matt said, we will get that on the voting ballot and that's sent out to the team. So we'll give you a couple minutes. But Matt, you can maybe move along, and if anything comes up, I will interrupt you.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. So like Christian said, if anything comes up, he'll be able to interrupt me. We'll be able to get that stopped and that proposed rule announced. But for the rest and duration of the league meeting, we do have some reminders for you guys. So this past season, as you could see if you were following along with the all-region teams, some regions, only had maybe one team, two teams. We are trying to get 3 all-region teams per region. We need more participation. why not? It's a great thing to be nominated for an all-region team. To be able to nominate your player to be on an all-region team, you need to have those stats uploaded, that player stats uploaded on our website. That's the only way we can move them over to the ballot to see if they make the all-region team. So making sure that those players' stats are updated on there, and then that way we can go ahead and use them for the team. But that definitely needs a lot more participation. Each region, I don't know, 2 to 4 teams probably nominated. Okay, Christian does have a rule change, so we will stop there and let Christian.
It's not necessarily a rule change, but just a question from Andrew Veda. He asked, do you have to be a full-time student both semesters to be eligible?
Yes, unless you are, unless that fall semester is, your last semester needed and you are graduating after that fall semester and you still want to play in the spring, you would need to at least be enrolled in 1 credit hour, and that's it, and then you'd be eligible for the spring. That's only if you are graduating in the fall. You can then play in the spring as long as you're enrolled in at least 1 credit hour.
Yeah. So to recap that, what Matt said, yes, you do have to be a full-time student both semesters. If you are a full-time student in the fall semester and you graduate in the fall semester, you can still play in the spring semester, but you do have to take 1 credit. If you are a graduating student and only need to take, or if you're graduating that current semester, you only need to take the amount of credits needed in order to graduate. So an example being if you're graduating in the fall semester and you only need 3 credits to graduate, you would only need to take that many credits in order to be eligible for that fall semester. If you wanted to play in the spring, you would at least have to take 1 credit in that spring semester to play. So very good question from Andrew, and if there's any other questions out there, it doesn't even have to be rule changes, but just questions in general, please let us know.
All right, so Christian explained it great. We need more all-region nominations. Need more all-region nominations. Need a bigger pool to select from. Not saying that there's anything wrong with the players that we got, but just having a bigger pool just makes it a little more fun for us when picking these teams. We need more Player of the Week nominations. There's this past season, there were some weeks where conferences, only had 1 Player of the Week whenever you can have up to 2 per conference. For when it comes to National Player of the Week, there were some weeks where there is only 1 National Player of the Week when there can be 2. Nominating your players, if they had a spectacular performance that week, whether they had a double-double, a career high in points, assists, rebounds, put that on your weekly team submission form. And we want to encourage you to do these things. We want those players to get recognized by the other teams in the leagues. Those get put on our social media pages so that other people can see, like, hey, so-and-so had a triple-double, the first triple-double in program history. Let's acknowledge them for that. And I'm sure these players, they want to get acknowledged for their performances during the season. So we need more Player of the Week nominations moving forward. Those do go on your weekly team submission forms at the very bottom. We also need more participation in the All-Star game. This past season, we had a lot of teams, after if they lost, they just ended up going home or just not wanting to participate, which I can understand going home. But you're there for the weekend. Why not stay? Why not play in this fun thing that we have for you guys? Please, stick around. It looks like Christian has another question and/or proposed rule change.
Yeah. So Seth Clark, VMI. Seth, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. But Seth is asking about having to possibly going to a running clock for conference games, but stop clock the last 2 minutes of each half. So certainly something that I've seen happen. Teams have reached out to me, about, hey, we were playing and it was a running clock, and I think there's some confusion with teams about it being a running clock or a stop clock. Right now, rules state that it has to be a stop clock. So every stoppage, the clock obviously stops. So Seth requesting, possibly going to a running clock for conference games, but having the stop clock in the last 2 minutes of each half. So if there's any teams that out there watching that second this, please mention that you second it, and we will get it on a voting ballot. By you seconding it, it's not making it a rule. We will just add it to the voting ballot. So we'll see if we can get another team's approval to get that onto a voting ballot. Okay. And I'll keep you posted about that.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Seth, for that. We've had some confusion with that in the past. It is 2 20-minute stop clock halves. The last 2 minutes of the second half, the clock does stop after every made basket. Just to clarify that as well. But where was I? More participation in the All-Star game, yes. We did have some concerns with teams, not using high school certified officials. So as I said, we do require all teams to have at least 2 high school certified officials. That is mandatory. If that is, presented to me saying like, hey, a team's not using high school certified officials, at least, that team is eligible to protest that game, which could, qualify for a forfeiture of that conference series, which means you lose, a percentage of your performance bond. So please making sure you use those high school officials. It's very important. It's just following our rules, which is pretty basic to do. This past season, we also had some questions and concerns on the correct number of personal fouls and number of timeouts. So personal fouls, you get 5 personal fouls. Once you commit that 5th personal foul, you are disqualified from the game. It's not, you commit your 5th personal foul and then the next foul you're out. It's once you commit that 5th foul, you are then out of the game. In which this will be added to the rule book just to have a little more clarity on that as well. That's not a proposed change or anything like that. It's just an addition, just so you guys are clear and understanding of these rules. And then the number of timeouts. Each team gets 4 30-second timeouts and 2 60-second timeouts. Those timeouts do carry over, and for every overtime period, you do get an extra 60-second timeout as well. So like I said, those will be added just as more of a clarification thing so you guys understand that there's no questions about that at all moving forward. Just a couple more reminders about the uniforms. Making sure that they match in color and style, including the decorations and all the trim. This is not intramural basketball. Let's not make it look like it. Let's make it look a little more professional. So that it's not sloppy, it's not mismatching uniforms. Teams aren't wearing white jerseys with numbers sharpened in on the back. Get those jerseys. We have that. That's why we have that jersey sponsor with Titan Athletics. And then you can also ask your varsity teams for old jerseys for you guys to use as well. Moving forward, we also need we need your alumni. We're always looking for alumni who want to stay involved with the NCBBA as we grow. Somebody who's passionate about it, somebody who cares and wants to see the league grow. Every season, regional directors, they could say, hey, no, I'm done. So, we could be looking for regional directors. Voting or top 20 voters, not all of them come back, so I could be looking for some top 20 voters. So if you're interested in this stuff, please reach out to me. I would love to set up a call just to talk about that stuff, what's expected of you with being a regional director and a top 20 voter. And if you're interested in being tournament staff, whether it's a regional tournament or even coming and helping out the national championship. We're always looking for volunteers to help us out with that stuff as well. It's strength in numbers, so the more the better. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me as well. We can take past players, coaches, whoever. We're always looking for extra help. It's a great way to get involved. You can put it on your resume as a volunteer experience. So yeah, if you're ever interested in helping us out with these things, please reach out to myself. And finally, we have our closing. I just want to thank you all for tuning in to the 2023 Men's League Meeting. I want you guys to continue to, promote the league and the website and get our name out there, as much as possible to help us grow, to help give you guys a better experience. Always ask us questions. We don't want anything to go unsettled or left unsaid. Keeping those lines of communication open and strong and direct. That way we can always get in contact with you. My emails are always there. My number is everywhere. You can always reach out to me about anything. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys out and give you guys the best experience possible. With the NCBBA. And also, please be prompt with meeting deadlines. Whether that's the schedule request form, your academic eligibility forms, your LPAs, your performance bond due dates, your league dues due dates. And anything else that we ask of you, please make sure you're getting stuff in on time. It's very important that stuff doesn't get left behind. And remember, it's a game. Have fun. And at this time, we still are on the air, so we're gonna leave this up and give you guys some more times to propose any rule changes that you guys want to propose if you're out there and you haven't had the chance yet. So we'll give you a couple minutes here. If you are proposing any rule changes, please make sure you put that in the comment section. Your name, team affiliation, and what rule you're proposing to change, and what you want to propose that change to be.
And we have nothing. Nobody seconded the running clock at this point, and quite honestly, I don't think anybody else is tuning in right now. So we will shut it down for now. But anybody that is tuned in right now, we will. Even though there was no rule proposals sent, I should say that are going to get added to a voting ballot. We will have some type of ballot going out looking for feedback on different things. So, stay tuned for that. Matt will get something out to all the teams to try and make the 23-24 season as great as it possibly can. So, thanks everybody.